warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app.
Football fans, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Field Vision, brought to you as usual by War Room Sports in conjunction with the Sports Kings. This is the Super Bowl 49 edition. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev, and I'm here at the round table with Andy of the Sports Kings. What's up, Andy? About that action, boss?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm thankful. B. Austin, War Room Sports.
Yo, what's good?
We got Frank from the Sports Kings.
So I'm going to knock on my girl's door at 4 a.m. and just say, you know why I'm here.
We got Freddie Perdue, collegefootballextra.com. What up, Fred?
You know why I'm here, don't you?
Yeah, use something somebody already said.
Recycling bars?
We got Jimmy the Blueprint.
Fred, did you just Jay-Z what Frank said? Like, what are you doing, man? He just said that. Therefore, even if that was what you were
He stole mine.
if that's what he was going to say, once he says it, you can no longer say it, man.
You know how big he felt
right now, yo.
I know how big he felt now.
Got to be on your feet.
How many of Frank's bars gonna come out your face?
All right, man.
Oh, man.
The Super Bowl is almost here. So, we're going to break down, we're going to analyze the game, the ins and outs. But, before we do that, we have to talk about the big hit of Media Day. Once again, it was Marshawn Lynch and his issues with the media. He had a new saying this time, and it was basically, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Said it about 29 times in his 5-minute session on the podium. What do you got? What are your thoughts on the whole Marshawn thing?
Yo, I'm a rebel, and I know all of the reasons why it's not proper, and all of the reasons, the logical and mature adult reasons that people are going to use as to why he should answer questions, be more vocal, be more articulate. But I just don't give a F, man. I love it. He's trolling the media, and the media is making him a star with the least amount of words and interaction possible. And if you don't believe that he's not going to get paid off of this stuff, you are a fool. I think the dude is calculated. I think he's highly intelligent. Bit of an asshole, but I love it.
He's already getting paid. He did a Skittles press conference, little, ad. He has a progressive ad now. So I mean, he's getting paid off of it.
He was hollering at women, too, during the thing, which was the greatest part.
That's the greatest part. And depending upon what the woman looked like, the more he opened up to. That's what the greatest thing was.
Yo, come on, man. You got to respect that.
He was trying to get the backup singer from Destiny's Child? No, I'm chill.
Yo,
Michelle Williams.
he called her a backup singer.
Bonafide backup singer.
The third member of Destiny's Child.
The third member, he straight called her a backup singer.
My thoughts on Marshawn are simple. Free Marshawn should not have to do what he shouldn't even be obligated to speak to the media. We're all, at least a minor part of the media, and we've all been around media people that are extremely, the media is extremely self-important, self-indulgent. Like they think that they deserve your time, even if, who is the media to?
All right, well, hold on. To play devil's advocate, though, without the media, what are the players? Because a lot of these guys become popular or become celebrities, become stars based upon the media. The media gives the people the access. The media is the one that asks the questions and help. So I see both sides of it. Like B. Austin said, you can't help but to enjoy it because it's pure entertainment. But I wouldn't go as far as like what you're saying, like Frank, because it's funny. Like not Marshawn per se, but a lot of athletes and entertainers, they want to use the media when it's convenient for them, but when they don't want to bother, they don't want to bother.
Kanye.
You know what I mean?
Kanye.
Yeah. I mean, it's just in general. So I see.
I would definitely say that I think the media needs the players more than the players need the media. I don't even think it's close at this point. Considering the
you have your own outlets with social media and whatnot. You definitely do.
Right.
But the media still plays an important role. Specifically, some guys that don't know how to use social media in the right way, other than to get in trouble. So and I'm not saying Marshawn. I'm just talking about in general. So the players do need the media. So I wouldn't go that far. And and it's also a business, and you're there to sell tickets, and you're there to promote the Shield. So that's all part of it. That's all part of being a professional. But at the end of the day, this is pure entertainment.
I know.
Yeah, but I agree. We should be able to opt out. I guess that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to do it, you should be able to just opt out.
I think that basically, in my opinion, what should happen is like it should be incentive laden. I guess it will come down to when they get their contracts. Like, look, you do these, you do this, and you get this, and so it should be incentive laden. So therefore, if you have a player that doesn't want to, do media or what have you, they don't get paid for it.
Yeah, because I think if it
It's
was
all part of your job.
I think if it was strictly an opt out, I think that would just set a crazy precedent.
Absolutely, you have nobody.
Yeah, it'd be like four people left.
Some players love
like
it, though,
Richard
I'm
Sherman.
Sure. Sherman's
like
gonna
Richard
do it.
Sherman. T.O. would try to get back in the league.
Guy Leonard.
I mean, because they would have so much time on their hands to be able to, talk and say what they have to
Spit
say.
fire.
But I wonder if it was
know.
incentive laden, because when you look at it, it is part of their job, right? It's part of being a professional now. But if you made it incentive laden, I wonder how many would switch their pitch at that point. They'd be having all kinds of stuff to say.
Yeah, real quick, I don't know what the standard is in the NBA, but I know, as a Net fan, there's a bunch of times where KG and Paul Pierce just won't speak to them. They just walk out. They don't speak to the media, and there'd be
they
times
got
where it'd be
12
months.
wins though, so no one really notices or cares.
That's true, but there'd be like months where they don't speak to the media. So I guess that's more of a I don't know the answer, but
let LeBron try to go months without speaking to the media.
Plus, you're not going to find too many of those. You're not going to find too many Marshawn Lynches in the NFL anyway, because NFL players already complain like we got to wear these helmets and everything.
Yeah, they want
to. Don't even get to see our face. So that's their time to shine. But Marshawn is just my thoughts on the whole thing. It's not going to be popular because I see like Marshawn he's developing a cult following for what he's doing. Everybody loves Marshawn, and I'm not saying that I'm a big Marshawn Lynch fan. And my thing is, it was funny when it first started. Now, in my opinion, it's getting kind of tired. It's getting kind of corny. Like Jimmy said, there's a point, where professionalism has to kick in. But, I don't want to preach or anything like that because, I'll laugh at anything and I yuck it up at anything. But when I sit back and think about it, if somebody asked me the question seriously about, what I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, it's getting a little tired. You know what I'm saying? If he can find something to say, he doesn't have to go into depth or anything like that about his answers, but he can find something to say, even if he's going to say 5-word answers, be short with the media, but, going in with this prepared statement every time. Like I said, it was funny the first few times, but now you got to exit when your joke is.
I don't mean to keep the subject going a little bit, but what do we do when Pop does it? We laugh it off like, oh, that's just Pop being Pop, and
I think Pop's an asshole too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm about to say there's no difference.
No difference for me. Yeah.
For it too.
I think it might be worse for him. He's a coach. He should be setting the example.
But here's one thing different I can say about Pop. I do agree with Pop in the essence that when it comes to them in the middle of games and try to do interviews,
that new stuff,
that's drawn. So I agree with Pop. I'll be pissed at that too. But at the end of the game, or just during the course of the normal work week, that's different. It's not like they're trying to get Marshawn on a timeout to talk. This is it's media day crisis.
Because in between the quarters, like in the NBA, what they do with coaches now, that's the time you need to be on the sideline talking to your team. And
unless you're the cash coach, no matter what
asking you silly questions like
not allowed in the huddle.
Why are you down 15 points? Because they're
I think they're kicking our ass.
I'm kind of on the long lines of with Dev here. For me, I can laugh at anything, but after a while it does get old.
Are you biting Dev bars?
Show up first,
hey,
man.
Fred,
Show
not like that. Sports bars week.
There has to be a give take though, because
yeah.
Because I understand some people just don't want people in their face all the time, but sometimes he can talk about execution. You say they executed well. That might fly. It works for Westbrook. But I don't know. I think we like Lynch's style. The same. I'm kind of on the same thing as B. Austin. I like he's cool and he's kind of a rebel without a cause. But at the same time, at some point it's your job. You work for somebody, so you need to be doing some of these things.
He needs to take lessons from our man Rasheed Wallace. Shout out to Simon Gratz, and hit him with something a little bit more prepared and entertaining. on the fly? I mean, do we want him to say ball don't lie and both teams played hard and hit him with more than just one thing, or is that?
Tell me y'all saw the interview that he did where they were asking him about the different women. He kept saying like, "Yo, she whopping."
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
that one. He
She
said,
whopping. Well, I guess she whopping too.
Yeah, she whopping too. He said, "Yo, she got a whopper." I'm like,
The best part was he didn't know who Iggy Azalea was.
Marshawn did that?
Yeah, B.
I'm
Austin,
immature. Yo, I'm immature. I love it.
Yo, I sent you the link, B. Austin, but
I missed it. Yo.
my man.
No, I am too. That's what I'm saying. If this is a different, setting, folks will be like, wait, you just said that. I mean, that's different. I mean, you're asking me a serious question. I'm gonna give you the serious answer, but I mean, I'm an idiot too, so I laugh at this stuff as well.
I got
at some point, like, all right, dude, we did.
And I get, and you know what? I get, and I'll concede that it's going to get old.
Yeah.
It's going to get old.
I think it got there for me.
If it's not already old, it's going to get old. I feel you on that. But just the immature teenage 18-year-old B. Austin that never grew up, like, yo, I bangs with it. It couldn't be me because I got too much to say. I'm on my Richard Sherman. I got to give me these. I'm gunning. I'm shooting. I'm talking about chicks.
I believe you. We know.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like
but for him, I gave Jimmy an ollie. He ooped it.
You already know.
I respect it, man. It's his thing. It's his thing, man. Let him live.
That's his brand. But see what happens now. What I'm wondering is how many people are going to try to like jump on the bandwagon and because this is what happens.
Westbrook already did it. Russell Westbrook already did it.
He's been an asshole though.
Well, he's
no, but I'm talking about with the prepared line.
Oh yeah. See, Marshawn's is just natural and it's obviously natural. Like he's just he's not a very eloquent guy, but I agree, man. I see both sides of the argument, but at this point it's like, what you gonna do, man? How long are you gonna keep this up?
And I'm not gonna let the reporters off the hook either, because at this point he's not gonna talk. But you're going over there and you're gonna ask him 55,000 questions because you want the next, Marshawn story. Oh, what's his phrase for today? So they have some culpability in this as well.
The one that was acting like me.
If I'm fed up with it, like, why am I going over to Marshawn Lynch with a microphone in his face? Like, I know he's going to treat me like crap. So what's the point?
For me, I look at a guy when I look at Marshawn Lynch and I say, well, if Bill Belichick is the same way, he'll give you the bare minimum answers.
Had to bring Belichick up. No matter what we talk about, you had to find a way to bring Belichick into the conversation.
Belichick and the Patriots, they give you the bare bones answers. Well, and they know they don't want to do the media days, whether it's the first week of the season, whether it's the preseason. It could be whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't give you anything, and he's basically the same way.
I guess so. When you're always trying to duck accusations of cheating.
Look here, Omaha said Hut. Tell your team to get to the Super Bowl.
You should play honest, though. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I guess you would duck the media when you always ducking charges at the same time.
I got bodies in the
throwing shade tonight, huh?
Let's move on to this game.
No shade.
Because we're all thankful. So we're gonna move on. Because we just had, so we won't get fined. But the game, Fred. Let me start with you. Because you're.
Now you can't
steal. You're a scout. You're a player guy. So let's get to individual players for you. Give me the top 5 players, regardless of their position, on both of these teams. Like, maybe I can even phrase it and say, like, who individually, like, name some names who are going to be most important to each team possibly getting a victory in this game. Let's throw out units, not offensive line. We know how important that is. Average fans don't, but offensive line of scrimmage, we know that. But give me some individual names.
For me, off the top, I have to say Rob Gronkowski. His impact on the game overall, I think he is the best player on the field at the end of the day because he impacts a whole defense. You'll have both safeties. He'll be going at both guys. Cam Chancellor, I can't wait to see that matchup with him. But you have Earl Thomas as well. He's going to be having to be matched up with him as well. He's Brady's safety valve, and the whole defense knows the ball is going to him in a critical situation. He's the whole offense in a sense because the Patriots their number one rusher is Jonas Gray. I mean, no one's really keying in on the guy that had most of his yards come in one game. As good as Brady is, I still say with him, at the end of the day, Julian Edelman's not your go-to guy. It's Gronk. My second guy, I got to look at Richard Sherman. As much as I like Revis, Richard Sherman, he really makes a quarterback think, do I really want to go to this side of the field? Even if he is on one side of the field.
Makes Aaron Rodgers think that.
Even whether he's hurt or not, quarterbacks respect the fact that he is such a good corner. Cam Chancellor's my third guy. I think he may actually have surpassed Earl Thomas. He's a dominant force. He's 6'4", 230. He runs like a safety, hits like a linebacker. He's the prototypical stud safety. I look at Darrelle Revis, and you're going to see a lot of defensive guys on this list. The offensive talent is there, and Marshawn Lynch would have been my next guy. But top to bottom, I just think when you have a guy like a Cam Chancellor, it makes a difference. Marshawn Lynch, the beast mode, he's just so dominant on the offensive side of the ball. He makes once you get a lead, you have a guy like him who can just pound a team into the dirt at the end of the game. And no defense can really key in on him either, because you have Russell Wilson, who at the end of the day, for me, I think is the future of the NFL. Brady's kind of at the end. So I feel like for him, he's the X factor in this game for the Patriots.
That's the game, huh?
Yo,
again, B. Austin?
17 passes a game, huh?
That might be the future of the league.
yeah, there you go. That's the future of the league right there. I mean, but my thing is, first thing, I forget naming five. I mean, both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You got to start with the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Russell Wilson, regardless of what anybody says, he didn't play well last game. He made the clutch throw. Didn't play well, but I don't see him being able to have that same kind of game. Like, if he's going to have to play better. Simple as that. I mean, and Brady is Brady. Now whether he's able to still produce at the same level now that we're watching, just make sure they're not cheating, we'll see. But we got to start with the quarterback in terms of the importance on both sides.
No, you're definitely right about Russell Wilson not being able to basically lay an egg like he did last week. And I mean, the defense is that good, but to go out there and play that bad in back-to-back big game situations and expect them to keep you around like that, that's a tall order, especially because you're playing against a Belichick coach team, because he doesn't do conservative with a lead. He doesn't do conservative. They get a lead on you, and it's taking Seattle's offense a long time to put some points on the board. He's going to step on your neck. So if they got into that kind of hole against this team, it might be a different story from last week. But that defense is that good, and it's possible they can step it up again, but you just don't want to see that in the Super Bowl. Anybody else got any thoughts on this before?
Yeah, I would like to play off Deb's thought, actually. I think that because you have Belichick, who will obviously push the pace if they get an early lead. In Seattle, their defense is kind of their foundation. I think that makes Marshawn Lynch probably their most important player. I think New England finished like somewhere top 10. So, I mean, Lynch to get in there and smash and eat the clock, they're going to need to control the game that way, let the defense do the rest. Because you don't want to let this game end up being 35-28 if you're Seattle, because you're probably on the losing end of that. You want to keep it relatively low. And as far as New England goes, I think I like the Gronk thing. He's the most feared guy in that offense if I'm on defense. And I think, they go as far as Tom Brady can take them. He's probably the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Gronk is the most important player in this game from both teams, because it's not only about how Seattle's going to game plan for him, but it's about how New England's going to use him as well. So is Seattle going to correctly game plan for the way that New England's going to? I would not be shocked if New England used him as a decoy the whole game, just because I think that they know that Seattle is going to be game planning for him. But then that's the cat and mouse game. I mean, that's the fascinating part of this Super Bowl, obviously, is the New England offense against the Seattle defense. I mean, we'll probably get to keys of the game later. I think it's going to come down to the other side. But I mean, I think that's why Gronk is the most important player in this entire game, because if Seattle game plans for him one way and then New England uses him a completely different way, which Belichick is known to do, especially in big games, then I think that could be the difference in the entire game.
You use Gronk to take away 3 defenders. I think if you're able to use him on seam routes and sitting him in between the hashes, it makes Earl Thomas think on the deep routes. It makes Cam have to cover underneath, because what I believe Seattle is going to do is they're going to pass this off between Bobby Wagner and Cam Chancellor in terms of actually manning up, and they're going to have Earl sit over the top. So now on the outsides, that means Richard Sherman one-on-one. Well, we know Brandon LaFell is not winning that. Edelman on lane, but hold on, Edelman on lane is going to be interesting. And then on the other side, Danny Amendola, as much of a bum and people like to claim Danny is, which he is, decent route runner, and he could have an impact on this game against the other corner. Yeah, it's interesting, because in the event that Belichick is able to
disrespectful.
get a lead, no, I mean he's a cheater, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, I still think he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, because he's able to push the limits to their max and implement things that, I mean, other people just don't think of. I respect him to the highest. He's just a cheater. And some people, I know what that carries with some, some folks are uncomfortable with that. I wouldn't be uncomfortable. I would love to play for a cheater like Belichick. So when you have him game planning, if they are able to get a lead, I'm going to be frank and honest with you, gentlemen, and throw out all of the positive accolades. I hope one day that Russell Wilson turns into Drew Brees. I really do. I see that in him. His decision making is pretty solid. But right now, they run the ball 34 and they pass it 17. If New England gets anything around a 10-point lead, that shit is not going to work at all. And they are going to face Darrelle Revis, who people are sleeping on. Darrelle may have lost some of the athleticism, but he's 7 times smarter than Russell Wilson in terms of diagnosing routes. And my man Curse is not going to get it done, and Doug Baldwin-Hills is not going to get it done on Darrelle. So Darrelle could have a big game if Russell Wilson is forced to drop back and pass, and it nullifies beats. I mean, that's just what it is.
No scary targets. They have no scary targets on that offense.
Correct. But then at the same time, with the Patriots, they have one scary target. You have one guy that really makes someone really afraid of you, and that's all you have is Gronk. The one thing I will say about the Patriots going on offense.
No, I'm afraid of Brady.
As everyone, yes, you're going to be afraid of Brady, but the guy he's throwing to, you're going to have to take him out of that game. And yes, he can be a decoy, but with that decoy, that also takes Earl Thomas out of the game. Like you said, he's going to be playing over the top. He's playing with a separated shoulder. So when you're playing with that separated shoulder, Brady, as good as he is, he's great at being able to.
But you and I know Earl doesn't care. Earl's a living missile. Earl doesn't care in that game about his shoulder.
Listen, let me piggyback for a minute off of what B. Austin was talking about. Let's go back to Russell Wilson, because I've heard this from fans all week. That how fans like to throw around the word elite. So I'm hearing now that Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback, or if Seattle wins the Super Bowl. People don't even care how they win the Super Bowl. They could win the Super Bowl and the offense gets 6 yards and the defense just shut it down. But people don't think like that.
That's the problem there.
A lot of folks are saying if he wins this second Super Bowl, he's already an elite quarterback. I was in a forum today with a lot of people from Chicago where they put up a versus between Russell Wilson and Steve Young, and a lot of people were choosing Russell Wilson as a better quarterback than Steve Young. Even if the Seahawks win this game, if the Seahawks win this game, is Russell Wilson an elite quarterback to you guys?
No.
Not even close. It's not even.
And if he
Never.
were, it wouldn't be just because he won a second Super Bowl. That's not.
When you're
And I
an
hate that you
elite
gotta say that
quarterback,
because
you don't have to have a reason to be named an elite quarterback. Your eyes tell you that.
It makes it seem like we're saying Russell Wilson's a scrub, but and we're not saying that. It's just when you put him in the conversation with Brady and Manning, it's not even a comparison. It's not even close. It's not even a comparison.
There's only about 4 elite quarterbacks in the league, probably.
Right.
And a couple of them are about.
And I'm starting to doubt Drew Brees.
And how I just love that. I love the way fans think, and props to Wilson for the throw. But how can you just dismiss the fact that he threw 4 interceptions? He was 0 for 5 with 17, or like 1 for 7 with 17 yards and 4 interceptions in like the fourth quarter of that game. It's not he just had a struggle in the first half, came back.
All they see is Super Bowl.
Green Bay was trying to lose the whole game. Like,
Listen. Here's the bottom line, yo. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. They're the only 2 elite quarterbacks in the entire league. That's it.
I'm on board. Peyton Shane.
But no. I mean, because fans all they see is championships, and this is a sport.
Can I say this?
You can't do that because it's too much that goes into winning a football game for you to give one person all the credit. But not only did they not notice the game that he played last week because one throw erased
the Super Bowl. The last Super Bowl.
Defense had nothing to do with that. And
exactly.
Then,
he also got to it before I could.
Did anybody realize that the Seahawks were up 29-0 on the Broncos before Russell Wilson even threw his first touchdown pass? They
started throwing the ball to make his stats look a lot better.
They threw that they were padding his stats to make it look like he contributed to the Super Bowl. Like Frank said, I'm not trying to call him a scrub. I'm not calling him a scrub. But
I like how Dev says it like it's just fact.
I'm not trying to call him a scrub, but it's just one of those things where people never look at all of the variables of something. They just, as long as he's on a team that wins 2 Super Bowls, he's an elite quarterback or 1 Super Bowl.
You won't know how great the greatness of Russell Wilson, whether he is.
I
don't even think Tom Brady was elite till after they won 3 Super Bowls.
I'm not trying to call Russell Wilson a scrub either, but they would have been in the same position with Garbage Jackson.
Now you're going too far. You went too far.
You went on the same boat, man, and then you just jumped off, man.
No, you took it way too far, yo. You just took it too far. You just went too far, yo.
When you have a defense that allows you to throw 4 interceptions and take 5 sacks, I'll put you back there.
No. You said Tavares Jackson that you just took it way too far.
4 interceptions.
No, but to be Austin's point, I think they would be in the same position with Tony Romo or
they'd be winning.
Tony Romo's
Matthew Stafford.
I mean, dominant Seattle was.
Frank, I get your point. Frank, I get your point. You're giving guys that are like not the elite, but right below that or whatever. Right. I get your point. But B. Austin, that's my point. B. Austin went too far.
Miles ahead
Good
of
quarterbacks on the same talent level as Russell Wilson, they would be in the same position.
I understand your point. B. Austin just took it too far. He said
Blaine Gabbert, Ryan Tannehill.
Cam Newton. You won't really know the greatness of Russell Wilson until a lot of those players that are on that team that won't be on that team once he
throws the ball 17
He's the third most important aspect of that team.
It really is until those players that need to be paid. And Seattle can't just stockpile talent because they're picking up guys in the 3rd or 4th round that turn out to be really great. You don't know how good he is until they start having to pay those guys.
That's a great point. You know what I do, Fred? I give the young man credit where it's due. One thing I appreciate about him is he doesn't take undue risks or unnecessary risks, and he is very decisive with the things he does on the football field, and I respect that. I think that's going to bode well for him later on in his career.
Good start.
When it matters, when it counts, when they rely on his mind and his arm. Right now, he's just back there a lot of the time. Not all the time.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Be honest. He played terrible. I'm not saying he's elite at all. But does Tavares Jackson make that pass to win the game they just won?
No. They may be in that position because
that pass was a perfect pass. That pass was money. Now, he played like doo-doo the entire game. That pass was one of the best
I'm going
passes.
to give you an answer. I know you're leading this question, but let me tell you honestly, straight up and down, an NFL quarterback, bummed he is, can make any throw on one-on-one coverage. There was no bracket coverage.
I'm not going that far.
No, we're talking about Tavares Jackson.
Blaine Gabbert and Tim Tebow in the NFL that would not have made that.
So now you go to Tim Tebow. Maybe not Tim Tebow, but he's not in the.
No, I'm not going to Tim Tebow. Tavares Jackson can't make that pass.
A 35.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I don't even care. I don't care if there's no defender on him.
It's not like
running alone.
To Garbage Jackson throw a bomb one-on-one. I just don't know if Garbage throws it in that situation. I don't know if they're even calling that for Garbage Jackson.
But that was a perfect pass. The accuracy was perfect.
Yo, when you say perfect pass, you are so overrating that pass. Yo, it wasn't into a window. He said, yo, Kurtz, run.
No, you can throw a perfect pass in a screen pass. It was a perfect pass for the play. What are you talking about?
Run a post route, beat your man one-on-one, and he made it was a good throw, but it wasn't.
No, it was the perfect pass for the situation. What are you talking about?
What?
It's like just say it's a perfect pass means he's throwing it between 25 people. No, he made a perfect pass on that throw. It was perfect.
To go off of what Jimmy was saying too, that throw, before you ever got to that throw, there was a throw that he made to Luke Wilson to actually score before that. Ha Clinton-Dix completely wet the bed on him. Yeah. That had he made a play on that ball,
that was an interception.
Talking about Russell Wilson making
Fred, it was an interception. Looked at the ball. He said, "I'm
Fred, you just kind of complimented him and then shitted on him in the same play. If the defender would have just turned around and made a play, it would have been terrible.
It was terrible.
It was a good play, but at the end of the day, if Clinton-Dix doesn't go, I wet the bed on this one. He really have not actually.
You can't have a name like Clinton-Dix and expect to play good defense.
And again, I just want to reiterate, except
make my program look bad. I mean, that's
Russell Wilson might be the most overrated as well as underrated player in the league. Simple as that.
Right. I just want to reiterate, Austin, who's apparently saying that Tavares Jackson can't replace him. Nobody's saying that Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback.
It's great, but we're saying you use Tavares Jackson as an example. We're just saying
we see it in all sports. We see it in all sports. People just like to crown, especially younger guys, guys that need time to develop still to become the player that they're going to be. They just like to crown them way too soon, and it's just too quick. It's too quick.
Steve Young. Come on, yo.
Frank, I'm resentful. I'm resentful of the fact that fans don't appreciate the components of that team that surround Russell Wilson and celebrate them, because there is no other defense that we can remember, save for Baltimore, and then going back before that, legendary defenses where you can turn the ball over 4 times, take 5 sacks.
I mean, he turned it over 4 times. They turned it over 5 times.
Five turnovers, and win that game. Like, that defense is amazing.
But it doesn't matter. They don't play quarterback.
Had like 5 drives that started inside the 35.
No, you're right.
You're absolutely right. But that
comes with
against the best quarterback in the world.
Yo, it doesn't matter. It comes with the position he plays. He plays quarterback. He's a marketable guy that plays quarterback.
No, but
Ben Roethlisberger. Think about that first Super Bowl Ben won.
Subscribe to that way of
the first Super Bowl that Ben won. It won despite Ben.
Jimmy,
that's a good. I think I see his story. Maybe if he keeps getting better, I see his story being like Ben Roethlisberger.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as Roethlisberger. It's the same thing over again. When you play the quarterback position, that's what it is.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this whole story is that if Russell Wilson treated the media the way Marshawn Lynch did, there is no way they'd be crowning him the way that they are right now.
Exactly.
No way.
That's part of him being a marketable guy. He seems to be a nice guy, but also he plays the position. I mean, at one point we're going to stop acting like the quarterback just isn't. It is what it is. Like, it's the reason why Romo gets all the blame when they lose
and all the praise when they win.
Yeah, I mean, you play the
quarterback on the planet when they win, worst when they lose. Bar none.
Exactly. As simple as that. Like, it's as simple as that. It doesn't matter how great that defense. That defense will get a shutout on Sunday. A complete shutout.
No, nobody. I'm never subscribed to that way of thinking. I understand that's how. I think that's just lazy methodology passed down by a league that's trying to sell us something. They
Yeah, I
have
don't
to sell
know.
us that drama.
Absolutely.
So,
They sell us Sports Center.
I don't buy that.
Jimmy,
Kids get up for a
Players
morning
that-
and they watch an hour of
you
Sports
already
Center.
know. I'm not with it. Like
Yeah, I
you
don't buy
explained that, I'm intelligent enough to grasp that, having been a sports fan all my life, but I don't bang with it. I didn't bang
No,
with
and I
it.
respect that. I respect that.
I
But I
didn't bang
also
with it. McNabb,
I'm not about that
I didn't bang with it with Mark Rippon. I ain't bang with it with a lot of guys.
But my thing is, it's a complex situation because at the end of the day, like that still is the most important position. Like forget the way it's portrayed. It is the most important position.
I don't doubt that it's the most important position. But just the stuff that we were saying, like they get all the credit, they get all the blame. Like you have to actually look at a game. You can't possibly tell me, that you watched the game last week and you came out of that thinking, man, Russell about to go to the second Super Bowl. He about to be elite. You can't possibly come out of that
Quite
game
honestly,
thinking that. You can't possibly watch the Super Bowl last year and then and think what you're thinking. Like, come on, you don't see what the Legion of Boom is doing back there?
Quite honestly, last week's game, I had a very good opportunity to turn that game off and go find something else to do because that game was in the bag with 5 minutes left, and Green Bay just completely let that one go. I mean, it was just you as a football fan, with that as the way Green Bay was playing, the way they were running the football. Aaron Rodgers was playing well. Seattle just played awful on offense, and Russell Wilson played like a. I don't want to call him a high school quarterback, but he was playing high school. He was playing very
defense wins games, offense sells tickets, man. So the average sports fan can't even tell you who's in the Legion of Boom. They know Richard Sherman. That's all they know.
Two of those interceptions.
They may know Cam Chancellor because he lays down the big hits.
Nobody knows who Cam Chancellor is.
I think
be on the screen right now, but nobody knows who Cam Chancellor is.
Two of those interceptions I don't think was Russell's fault. So I'm going to defend him on that as well. But look, man,
they would have been Tavares' fault.
Video going to be like 80,000. Nobody likes him. Real quick before we give our keys to victory and the picks, man. Which team has the bigger motivation? I mean, you're in the Super Bowl. If you're not motivated, then something's wrong with you. But let's play the game. Which team has the bigger motivation to win this game? You have the Patriots, who've been dealing with being called cheaters again. This was actually their chance to win a Super Bowl post-Spygate and shut all of that noise up. And then they have this controversy going into this Super Bowl. So, I think it does motivate them more because everybody's coming down on them right now. And then you have the Seahawks having that motivation to repeat. And, as we talked to Fred about off air, possibly start to be called a dynasty, something else that I don't subscribe to after 2 championships.
Yeah, you got to be good for at least 5 years, like competing for 5 years to be called a dynasty.
For me, I'll answer your question first, Dev. I'll be very brief. I think it's more on the Patriots because of everything you just said. You laid it all out. Seattle, even if Seattle loses this bowl, they're still the Seattle Seahawks. The fact that they won one bowl and went to another one is amazing because you're the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, New England is pretty much already considered somewhat of a dynasty, but with all the allegations and everything they went through, and the fact that they're not playing the Giants who own them, I mean, it's all on them. I mean, because what happens if they lose this, right? That means Tom Brady's lost 3 bowls and he's won 3. I mean, he's 500 at a point, and without cheating, he may have not won any of them. So I think it's more New England. I think it's more New England in terms of the pressure.
I just want to be brief, and I'm just going to agree with everything Jimmy said, and just throw in the fact that especially for the Seattle Seahawks, I think they lack a little motivation because of what he said. Because of the parity in the NFL, you're not really expected to repeat or go to back-to-back Super Bowls nowadays because of the turnover in free agency, et cetera. And just all the stuff with New England, I think it's definitely New England.
I think there's a little bit more than just a dynasty thing that motivates at least some players on the Seahawks. I know Richard Sherman was saying something about a few years ago when they were playing the Patriots. Tom Brady said something to him like, who are you guys? Like, you're nobodies. So now they could possibly win a back-to-back Super Bowl against, Tom Brady's team. So that's a little motivation for Sherman. I'm sure he could spread that throughout his defense.
And
but I'm gonna go with Jimmy said as well. I think the bigger motivation lies with the Patriots because, like I said in the opening to this segment, like this was their chance to get from under Spygate to say, look, we were dominant in the regular season after Spygate. You know what I'm saying? We've been competitive. We've been good like every year.
Yeah.
We're going to win another Super Bowl. But now they have this other thing looming over their head. So even if they win, people still are going to give them their credit.
Absolutely.
But they're still motivated like hell to go ahead and win because what people think doesn't matter when you're hoisting the trophy.
Yeah, because even outside of Spygate and all that, you got the whole Tuck rule thing. I mean, even when they went to the Super Bowl, they were winning them by field goals, like, last-minute field goals. Not like they were really, you know what I mean?
That was the Raiders get fucked rule.
I also don't think people realize how long. I think most fans don't realize how long it's been since Patriots won Super Bowl.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't realize how long it's been since the Tuck rule and all.
I only realize it because that's how long it's been since my team has been to the Super Bowl. So it's fresh in my mind. It's fresh.
I definitely.
Colts.
I think Jimmy led off and really hit the hot button on this. Pause. The pressure is on the Patriots from a lot of different directions. Number one, the Patriots aren't that talented. Like outside, no, I'm not.
No, we know.
I'm not slamming the team.
We know. We're
They're
just
not
laughing
that-
because we know where you're going. But it's funny for us to think about how the audience is going to look at what you say because the stuff you say sounds sensational before you explain.
Right.
We know.
They're not that talented. Gronkowski, amazing talent. Brady, amazing talent. Darrelle Revis, amazing talent. That's 3 guys on a 53-man roster.
Whoa. Stop. Pause.
Uh-oh.
The resident
Last time I checked, Devin McCourty needs to get his respect on that defense. Please do that, as well as Vince Wilfork.
Of all the players you could have picked, you picked Devin McCourty. I was thinking like, you're just gonna hate on Vince Wilfork like that?
Frank, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, damn, he forgot Wilfork. Wilfork's a big part of this success.
It's funny.
He said that like you forgot Deion Sanders.
He said, you're gonna forget Matt Slater? Are you gonna forget Matt Slater?
It's funny
You
because
gonna forget Shane Vereen, man?
Did you ever disrespect Brandon LaFleur?
When you got a quarterback like Jay Cutler.
Never live that one down.
Don't you dare poop on Kyle Arrington. But outside of those 3 guys and Devin McCourty
and Vince Wilfork.
Vince Wilfork, you can add a 5th. They're not that talented. And I think it's amazing. It really is a testament to Belichick and his ability to be creative in the ways that he has success in the NFL, whether you're comfortable with his ethics or not. It's a testament to him that he's able to coach, strategize, cheat, scratch, claw, beat.
You're right.
To another Super Bowl. So the pressure lies there, and then there's Brady and that whole legend status, and is he the best quarterback ever? I think there's pressure there. I think that the Seattle Seahawks, gentlemen, are you aware that the average age on their roster is under 26 years old? These guys are 20. They average 20.
But they're the Seahawks, so they playing with house money anyway. The Seahawks are supposed to be good.
Right now, they are.
Y'all knew it only happens once a month.
About 5 years ago, they were the worst team in the league.
Wait,
Jimmy. It's house money.
They can't. They're a dynasty.
Proof of what Jimmy is saying. When a team gets shifted from one conference to another, that means they have no respect for you. Seahawks, you look to baseball, Houston Astros. When you switch conference or switch leagues, nobody has any respect for you. So he is right. Like the Seahawks are never supposed to be good like this.
They're playing with house money right now, man.
If you really think about it,
Fred probably don't remember the Seahawks being in the AFC.
When they had the first Kurt Warner
things, you can really honestly say the Seahawks have been to 3 Super Bowls since 2000. If you really want to go back to since the 2000s, in the 2000s, we've gone to 3 Super Bowls. Granted, you've won one.
So,
And
no,
I
that's
just want to
fine,
touch a little bit on what B. Austin
Yeah, they
said.
did.
Yeah,
I didn't
they are
realize
one
that
of
they
the
went to
better
the Super Bowl. They went to 3 Super Bowls.
They are one of the
this will be
better.
their third Super Bowl
Yeah,
because remember
they
they
did
played Pittsburgh
Hasselbeck.
They got
Yeah.
and they got jobbed against
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
and they got jobbed in that Super Bowl.
They should have
Yes.
won that. They
Yeah, but hold on though. How
Sorry,
many
but-
years ago? How many years ago was it when someone won that division with a losing record?
It was
Not
them.
that many.
Like
It was
four-
them,
not that
like,
far.
3-4 years.
They were the ones that
against
did
the
it. I think.
Saints. Yeah, they
I think
hosted
it was
it
when they
and
played
had
the
like
Saints.
7 wins or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, listen, man. The bottom line is they
2010,
playing.
I think it was. Maybe
Yeah, they-
2009.
I think it was 2010. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, because like with
That
B.
was
Austin
the
just
beginning
said,
of the
they're so
12th.
young, right? They're so
Yeah.
young, and they have so much talent. Like B. Austin said, like if you were to do a draft between these two teams, you probably have those 5 Patriots and probably like 50 Seahawks taken in that draft. So the fact of the matter is, they're playing with house money. They've already won. Just making it is an accomplishment. Making it back to the bowl after winning it. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
pressure to me is on the Patriots.
Jimmy, let me tell you what's going to happen.
They're the champs,
Jimmy,
though.
let me tell you what's going to happen. The Seahawks, the Patriots are us. Like, we've all had illustrious and wonderful amateur playground basketball careers. You walk onto that basketball court, and you
Got one going, man.
You see the young boy that's there, and you like, oh, he's young. I'm going to bust his ass because he's young. And then you get into it, and it's a couple plays where you realize, oh, shit. I can't check him. I mean, I'm gonna give him some buckets because I'm me, and he's gonna have to know that I can give him some buckets. But he really doesn't. He's not scared, and he really don't respect me. And I think that's how the Seahawks are gonna look at that.
That's what you use the elbow for, B. Austin.
Of course.
Hey, but I think it's a credit
Give them
to the
something.
Patriots because really it's throughout this whole run of theirs
They
starting
would have been good.
'99, they've rarely had talent. When they had their most talented teams didn't win anything. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The Randy Moss team, I mean, they made it, but they one time, but they didn't win anything. You think
Next, Asante Samuel
team
from
that
the
won 3 Super Bowls, they've had cats like Brewski, Vrabel. I think they're just I think
Troy
they're
Brown.
I think they're overachievers. You
I
have
don't know
Troy
what
Brown,
Belichick makes, but get that man a raise anyway.
Gibbons. Like, they've definitely. I mean, there's a lot to say. Like,
The difference, though, Dev, you know what the difference was? Devin, their offensive line and their defensive line.
Yes.
yeah, we're dominant. Exactly.
Yes, you had guys like
That's what
Richard
we're talking
Simmons
about.
of the world.
That's
that were
why
actually
you
really
can
good at
win.
the time.
That's why you can win without all the sexy names at the skill position.
Yo,
And that's
I mean,
what we
well,
try to
I do
preach
agree.
on social media every damn day to fans who just think, oh, quarterback, look at his wide receivers. He doesn't have good receivers. Like, come on, man.
I do agree to a point that Belichick and the Patriots definitely do get the most out of what they have, and guys like Brewski and Vrabel. But no doubt, I think this Patriots team is pretty talented, though, specifically on defense. I mean, I think B. Austin is undermining them a little bit. I mean, they got Jamie
Yeah,
Collins,
Devin
is one of
McCourty.
the up-and-comer, linebackers. He can do a lot of things on the field. He can cover. He can blitz. He can do a lot. Chandler Jones is a great
Chandler
pass
Jones.
rusher. So, I mean, I think they do have talent on the defensive end. I think offensively, especially, I mean, Brady's throwing to Gronk.
Yo,
and just
how
a
they
bunch
put
of
up 50
nobody.
points last week though? With what?
Yeah, he's throwing. I mean,
Frank,
Julian Edelman was a quarterback in college.
Frank, all 22.
That's receiver.
I mean, we will poop on Kurst and Doug Baldwin Hills, but they're better than what the Patriots line up with at wide receiver. Like,
No doubt.
No
No doubt.
doubt.
I was saying defensively. I think defensively they're an underrated defense. I think they have a lot of talent and a lot of playmakers on that defense.
But you have to give credit to like their system or whatever because Bill Belichick's probably the only coach in the league that can get caught cheating twice and still has more job security than anybody else. Because I don't know what happens without him, man. Like you gotta give that
He
credit.
knows about science and ball pressure and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a smart guy.
The only other person I can think of would be if they found out like Popovich was like kidnapping people like in Africa, like they wouldn't care. They'd be like,
Man, look at your team. You know he's doing something.
For me, I look when I look at the Patriots and I look at how Belichick does everything.
you know how you
Gobble gobble, gobble gobble.
I look at how he drafts his players. He passed on guys like Clay Matthews twice. You don't pass on guys that even though Clay Matthews at the time wasn't this superstar guy, but in hindsight he passed on guys like Clay Matthews twice in the draft. to go get a wide receiver who, by the way, isn't in the league anymore, and Taylor Bryce. But you pass on guys like that twice, and you give up on. You have receivers like Julian Edelman, who's not really. You groom him to take over for Wes Welker, who hasn't done much since he left. You can let go of guys like Deion Branch, who was a Super Bowl MVP. Let him go, and he can bring him back.
Deion Branch was a bum, yeah.
And great, but when he's a Super Bowl MVP, you can't.
Dude, his numbers are
because he had
Jackson.
And he goes on to Seattle and does absolutely nothing.
That's why this is.
But you can have a revolving door at receiver outside of one great year with one great player. There's been a revolving door at a lot of offensive positions outside of the offensive line.
When the sport is one and done, and a team like the Patriots come along, because remember at that time Tom Brady wasn't considered elite. He wasn't the golden boy yet. So they can give Deion Branch a Super Bowl MVP. If Tom Brady if that was 2 years later, there's no way Tom Brady could have thrown for 14 yards and they wouldn't have given Deion Branch. Yeah, so like
it's like last year. Last year they was like reaching to find an MVP of the bowl.
So look, exactly. It's one of those situations. It's like
they had no choice.
They're like the Detroit Pistons of football. Like you gotta give it to somebody. That was a shot at B. Austin's man.
Chauncey. Let's give it to Chauncey.
All right, real quick, man. This video is long as hell. Keys to victory, and if somebody says some keys and they're your exact same keys, there's no reason for you to put your keys out there.
Absolutely.
So, keys to victory.
The key to victory for the Seattle Seahawks is it's Marshawn Lynch running the ball, controlling the clock. And the keys for the New England Patriots, I think, is going to be their defense, their ability to stop that run. I think they need to be able to, stop the bleeding and stay on offense. They need to run the ball. I mean, they had a good running game last week or 2 weeks ago. If they can keep that up, that'll obviously swing things into their favor and set Brady up to hit his targets. I think that offense needs to really rumble. And that's all I got.
Cam Chancellor or Earl Thomas cover Gronkowski one-on-one and free the other one up to put the fear of God in LaFell and Amendola and Edelman.
Do you guys think the defensive ends will have to do a lot of bumping of Gronk off the line to slow him down? In essence, slowing down their pass rush a little bit?
You better hold them on every play.
Frank, quick keys. Got it?
3 keys to the game. I think the way that Seattle game plans for the illegal formation / apparently legal formation that New England is going to run, nobody has had an answer so far for it in the playoffs, so I'm curious what Seattle comes up with there.
The ineligible receiver?
Yeah, the eligible receiver.
His ass. He's not eligible.
As a Giant fan, I can tell you that the formula to beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl, since we've done it twice, thank you, Fred, is to pass rush, to get to the quarterback, and to do it by not blitzing and just rushing for and being able to get.
Seattle can do it. They got the personnel.
And they can.
Averill is a manimal. So is Bennett.
And also get David Tyree to call on a devil to help him make that catch.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think my third key, which I think is very important, is just as a whole, I think the game is going to come down to the Patriots' defense against the Seattle offense. I think the sexy match is on the other end, obviously. But I think if the Patriots can force some turnovers and get Tom Brady in good field position, then I think it'll be a rather easy win for the Patriots.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson will get gun shy before he turns the ball over like he did last week or 2 weeks ago. I think he'll just not throw it in situations where he wants to throw it. Fred, what are your quick keys?
Frank pretty much said everything for me. I don't really have to say much more.
Trying to steal my bars again.
They gotta stop. You got to stop the run, though. You got to stop the run, and you got to be able to establish a line of scrimmage and run the football. They got to protect Brady as well.
Right, you can go ahead and say
got bars like that.
Fred, you can go ahead and say go Patriots. You can say that.
Not so fast, man. Not so fast, man.
All day.
Jimmy, quick keys.
I think the biggest key in this game is whether the balls are deflated or not. No, I'm joking. Andy kind of mentioned it. I think it's kind of about the running game. Who's able to establish the running game and who's able to stop the other team from establishing the running game. And that's on both sides.
The question
if you look at the games,
who the hell is Belichick going to run the ball with this week?
I don't know who he's going to run with, but he's had to figure it out somehow. But if you look at the games that each team has lost this year during the regular season, it's when teams have been able to run on them. Simple as that. Like, so I think it's about who establishes the running game, and also Russell Wilson just can't play as bad as he did in the championship game. He just can't. In order for him to win, he can't.
I think it's about who see who first. So let's make our pick. B. Austin dropped. Hope he get back on so he can make his pick, because this is what the whole damn show is about. So we'll start with Andy. Who you got? Super Bowl 49.
As much as I hate to do it, I have New England 30, Seattle 17.
Oh, score and everything. Frank, who you got?
I have New England 35-14.
Damn.
Putting up points on the boom, huh? Fred, who you got? Fred.
For me, you guys are gonna give me a lot of hell for this one.
This is reverse psychology. Go ahead, Fred.
You're gonna give me so much hell for this one.
No, Fred is the king of the emotional hedge. He does all the time.
You nailed it on the head, Paul. That's exactly what he's doing right now. You're not fooling anybody right now.
I'm gonna get so much hell.
He's superstitious, so you're gonna go the other way. I do it with the Eagles all the time.
Seattle wins this one 31-20.
31-20. Jimmy, who you got?
Yo, I'm pissed because I was going to say that, and I had that exact score, but I can't pick exactly what Fred picks, so now I got to change my score. I'm going to say 34-24. I'm taking Seattle to win this game. And the thing about it is, I've been going back and forth on this game because I can honestly see this going either way. I can honestly see this game, and I guess it's supposed to be the damn Super Bowl, so you shouldn't expect it to go out. But with that being said, I just think that Seattle dodged a bullet with that Packers game. That was the chance to get them knocked out. Now with 2 weeks to prepare, they got over that hurdle. I think they're going to come to play. That defense is tough, man.
No one's talking about Pete Carroll, by the way. I've heard Belichick's name this whole show.
I mean, but Belichick, Pete Carroll has.
Pete Carroll is a great coach in himself, and a lot of the things that Bill Belichick is running, Pete Carroll ran that.
Any Seahawks really. It's been Deflategate and it's been Marshawn Lynch. I mean, that's pretty much.
But Fred, to your point though, when looking at this, he's able to draft well. They drafted well. I don't know who their GM is or who he's working with, but they drafted very well. But at the end of the day, like Belichick, Belichick gets the props that he gets because, like, and there's no disrespect to your team, but they don't have the most talented bunch.
I agree with that. If
you look at the talent on both teams, Belichick is just doing more with less. Let's put it that way.
Yes, he's always, yes. I agree with that.
All right, so this is difficult because I came in. I still don't really have a pick, but I'm going to make one because this is like the first of 3 shows, that we're going to do at War Room Sports about this. We still got the podcast, and then we still got a pregame show on Super Bowl Sunday. So if anybody's out there watching this and then my picks if they change and some other broadcasts you might hear, then don't blame me. But right now,
another emotional hedge.
Hedging.
Yeah, no hedging.
It's not emotional. I have no dog in this fight. I want to see both of them lose.
I know, we took them out. Sorry.
Can they both lose?
0-0.
I hope the game gets canceled.
I hope it's like an old school wrestling match where just like a villain comes in and like the end of the game he just like steals the game and just they just win.
I'm gonna go 24-20 New England.
Ooh.
Good one.
I have no confidence in either of these teams. That's not a slight on them. That's just how good both of them are. I have no clue who's going to win this game. But I'll go 24-20 New England. So, look, man, let's get the hell out of here.
No doubt. It's like a 7-hour show.
Yeah, this video is as long as hell. And people probably dropped off like 20 minutes ago. So, look, you guys know the drill. Make sure you subscribe to the page, War Room Sports, so you know when a new Field Vision is coming out or any other show we do on the network. Make sure you check out sports-kings.com to see what Andy, Frank, and all the fellas over at Sports Kings have going on. Check out Fred at collegefootballextra.com. Check out everything we're doing, warroomsports.com, warroomsportstv.com, and WRSPN.com. So for all of these knuckleheads, Super Bowl 49 is on the way for Andy B. Austin, Frank, Fred, and Jimmy. I'm your boy Dev. Don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
We shall see you chumps on top.
Get that War Room app now.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.